Hello, everyone, and welcome to the channel. I'm Mark.
And I'm Rob.
Today, we're going to talk about whether or not the WNBA and people surrounding it and some of the media are secretly hoping that Paige Beckers and, more importantly, JuJu Watkins be more popular and better than Caitlin Clark so they can replace Caitlin Clark as the face of the league. And hey, if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please do so. Hit the notification bell when you do so you get notified of our next videos. So, Rob, this is kind of complicated because it seems Caitlin Clark is in reality the face of the league, although the WNBA pretends A'ja Wilson is. And Caitlin Clark was the face of college basketball, and then this year, it's going to be the JuJu Watkins or Paige Beckers, depending on who plays better and what team does better. But it's one of those two. And they don't want Caitlin Clark to be the face of the league, obviously. They've done every effort they can to try to minimize how well she plays and how much they promote her. So we'll see what happens in terms of what happens next year. But I don't think they like the fact that she's the face of the league right now, Rob.
Well, they wouldn't even say that. I mean, like you said, they're trying to promote anything but her. Though but they'll go, oh, hey, our attendance has gone up 100-something%, and our viewership is way sky high from a year before. And I wonder, but they won't. They'll leave it at that. They won't say the reason why, but they'll just say everything's up. But they won't say because of. That's it.
Because of. Let me think. Let me think the reasons why. We've discussed all this, but it seems bizarre to me that this is the first league in the history of sports that has not welcomed a highly publicized rookie into the league. Instead of welcoming her with open arms, they had like a cold resistance to her. You know what I mean? The veteran players seem threatened by her arrival. You know, like somehow she's challenging their ideology, their established orders. The black lesbian seems to have a lot of power. Jealousy of her and envious of her. And there's a racial undertones, sexuality undertones having to do with straight or lesbian.
Just the whole Mean Girls thing. That's the whole thing. Mean Girls too.
Right. They didn't see this as a good thing that she was coming to the league. They saw it as a bad thing, even though they know that a rising tide lifts all boats. They don't care. They still want it the way it used to be, where they had total power, control, and publicity for themselves.
And then when they saw it come, and then when they see that how much impact she's been making, they play innocent and say, "Oh, we didn't see this coming. We didn't know this was coming. We didn't know she'd be this popular."
Well, instead of making this a great moment for the league, they made it into a controversial moment where people are criticizing the league, and the league looks bad now. Mm-hmm. So it's almost like it's a bitter topic right now, especially among Caitlin Clark fans who felt she got mistreated when she came into the league by everybody. The players, the commissioner, the refs, even the refs jumped in on this.
Yeah,
right?
even the refs jumped on board. Like, hey, join the party here.
It's almost like they were targeting her with hostility instead of, just being, giving her tight defense for a rookie. That seems to be, they seem to be saying, you don't belong here. We don't want you. And, if it wasn't for her, the league would be less popular this year. And they don't even want to acknowledge that. Mm-hmm. So the refs even turned a blind eye. The commissioner's done nothing to try to protect Caitlin Clark. But they essentially don't want her to be the face of the league. So they're hoping for someone else. So the first up is Paige Beckers because she's a senior and JuJu Watkins only a sophomore.
Right.
Well, Paige Beckers is overly woke, as we saw in her ESPN acceptance speech. Now, look, I understand that if she thinks blacks have not gotten enough publicity, but I'm not sure that's true in basketball. No one was paying attention to the WNBA, but A'ja Wilson got plenty of publicity compared to Breanna Stewart. It wasn't like Breanna Stewart was getting all the publicity. So I'm not even sure that was true. In college basketball, the reason that Paige Beckers got a lot of publicity that year was because she was the best player in the league, and she went to UConn, who always get a lot of publicity.
Right.
So what are they supposed to do? Give more publicity to someone who's not as good as her? I don't know. So I didn't understand the reason she felt obligated to say that, but it sure is going to ingratiate herself into the WNBA this year.
Oh, yeah.
So She's white. I don't know her sexuality. I don't care what her sexuality is, but it could make a difference. Regardless of her sexuality, she's overly woke and they like that. Caitlin Clark has remained neutral on that, which I think is the right way to go. Just remain neutral and just play basketball.
Right. That's all I want to do.
But unfortunately, Paige isn't black, so that won't be good enough for them, Rob. They're hoping for more. And here we go. And down pike comes JuJu Watkins.
Yep.
She's black. I don't know her sexuality. Again, I don't care what her sexuality is. They probably care. But JuJu Watkins is their savior as far as I can see. They want her to take over Caitlin Clark in a couple of years because they'll be tired of Caitlin Clark by then for sure.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. She's done. It's over. She's done.
But their problem with their hope and their plan is, Rob, non-organic popularity only works so much. You can only publicize so much. Either fans accept that player and get excited about them, or they don't. You can publicize Paige Beckers and JuJu Watkins all you want. But if they don't grab the attention of the fans, it only helps a little bit. It won't make much difference at all, Rob. The fans like who they want to like and who they do like.
Right. I mean, you're not going to all of a sudden change this fan base that Caitlin Clark has, and then all of a sudden, oh, we have the Paige Beckers, we have the JuJu Watkins fan base. I mean, it's got to be Caitlin Clark's fan base has been built up through the years, for years, and then it came onto the scene in the WNBA, and they just kind of pushed it aside.
And to be clear, this isn't Paige Beckers or JuJu Watkins' fault. They both seem like nice young women. And they're both excellent players. But you can't, that doesn't make them just as exciting as Caitlin Clark. Even if they end up better than Caitlin Clark, that doesn't make them as exciting as Caitlin Clark, which is half the reason of Caitlin Clark's popularity. It's her greatness combined with how exciting she is. She's the most exciting woman by far since Cheryl Miller in women's basketball. It's not even close.
Agreed.
And that's why she's so popular. And that bothers them because she's a white, straight woman who has crazy fans. And she makes a lot of money, and she also gets a ton of attention. And so, like one of our listeners keeps pointing out, it's the ideology. And I said, what's the ideology? But it's the ideology that gets magnified or triggered by the fact that she's white, straight, gets a lot of money, gets a lot of publicity. The ideology itself is not enough to trigger all this. You got to have all these other combinations going on. And that's what's going on with Caitlin Clark.
Right. There's got to be other factors in it in order to for that to happen. Yes.
Right. And so I don't know who's going to end up being the better player. I just don't see anything in Paige Becker's game or JuJu Watkins' game that's going to make me say to myself, that's a more exciting player than Caitlin Clark. I probably would have seen it by now. I was intrigued by Caitlin Clark her freshman year in college. As soon as I watched her play, I said, this is the most exciting player I've seen since Cheryl Miller. And I said, I've watched JuJu Watkins play. I didn't say that about her, even if she ends up beating Caitlin Clark. And don't get me wrong, because JuJu Watkins has got so much athletic ability and great size and stuff like that. And she's a better defender than Clark. But you know what? She's not a perfect player either yet. As I pointed out in other videos, she had more turnovers, which doesn't seem to bother anybody except it's Caitlin Clark's turnovers. She had more turnovers than assists her freshman year. And her shooting percentage was not good, especially for a volume shooter. That doesn't mean next year she's not going to solve both those problems. She probably is going to solve them in the next couple of years. And she's a great player. And like I said, she's got so much size and athletic ability at 6'2". She's destined to be a super great player, but that still won't make her necessarily better than Clark because she's not the passer that Clark is, or doesn't necessarily make her a more exciting player. So you can't force that on people.
Well, Mark, you know, she will be the better player because if in those 2 years, if she wins a national championship, which Caitlin Clark has not done, that's determination of who's a better player. Well, she's definitely going to be the better player because if she won a national championship.
That's right. That's the only determination, especially if you go to a big school, you know, with 10 or 12 other people who made it in the WNBA.
Right.
But yeah, but JuJu Watkins didn't go to South Carolina or UConn. She went to USC. They weren't a big power anymore. They were a long time ago when Cheryl Miller was there, but they weren't a big power anymore. So I'll give her credit for that. But even then, I'm not even trying to compare who's better between Caitlin Clark and JuJu Watkins. I'm just saying they want her to be better. I can just feel it, Rob. I can just feel ESPN is dying for her to be better.
Oh yeah.
Other fans are. The WNBA is dying for her to be better. They want a black person to be the face of the league and not a white person. They don't even want Brianna Stewart to be the face of the league. They push Asia Wilson over Brianna Stewart all the time, Rob.
Mark, has ESPN actually interviewed Caitlin Clark? Like usually, like if someone wins the award or if they're doing during the season, like Rookie of the Year, wouldn't they like interview her and ask her questions about how she felt this season? Have you seen the interviews by ESPN about her?
ESPN has not interviewed Caitlin Clark to the best of my knowledge. So I don't know why not. I guess they don't want the answers that she's going to give, but actually she probably won't give them any good answers anyways because she always takes the high road.
Yeah.
But I am going to be really interested to see on those two things, how they treat Paige Becker and JuJu Watkins when they come into the league and how much they promote them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really interested to see that. And let's say there's another good rookie that year. Will it be a contest or is it automatically this player is Rookie of the Year?
Right. Is Paige Becker's going to be Rookie of the Year already? She hasn't even played a game yet.
Week one. JuJu Watkins Rookie of the Year already, and she's still in college. She's a sophomore.
Right.
So already in the preseason, JuJu Watkins is Player of the Year in the preseason poll. It's so silly. How can you be preseason Player of the Year? And nothing against JuJu Watkins. In fact, she may, there's at least a 50% chance that she will be the best player this year, or it's close to 50%. I think it's a toss-up. I don't have any strong opinion either way. But why even vote on that? Like they vote on that in college football, like the preseason #1 ranking.
Yeah, for the Heisman. Oh, he's got 3 games. Oh, he's going to be a Heisman. He's going to win.
There's preseason Heisman odds-on favorites, Rob. It's silly. So we'll see what happens. So they want JuJu Watkins this year to be the face of college basketball because she's black. Lindsey Schnell let us know that of USA Today, that it's important for a black person to be the face of the league, both in college basketball and in the WNBA, because there's more blacks that are successful and more blacks play in the league and in college basketball than whites. So they have to be the face of the league all the time, 100%, not 2/3 of the time, not 3/4. Has to be 100% of the time. If not, there's a problem with our society. That's the impression I got.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, you can't have any you white people. You guys already rule over us anyway, Mark. So we can't have you take over our sport. You stick to like I said, stick to your golf. Okay, stick to your golf.
Well, they're acting like the white people or white players have always been the face of the league in the WNBA for all 28 years, despite the fact that it's predominantly black. They act like that's what's happening. That's not what's been happening.
No.
I don't know exactly who's been the face of the league all the way through, but most of the players that you can list as great players were potentially the face of the league and most popular, like even Maya Moore, Candace Parker, Cynthia Cooper, Cheryl Swoops, God forbid, Asia Wilson now. Those are all black players. There's only been a few like Lauren Jackson and Brianna Stewart. Only been a few white players who you could see maybe temporarily with the face of the league. And Lisa Leslie, I forgot. So it hasn't been like there's been all these white players in the face of the league. God forbid if it happens for a 2 to 3 year, 5 year period because some great player comes along. Yeah,
Tamika Catchings. Yeah. So I want to know now that you mentioned that, Mark. So for the NBA. They have the silhouette, it looks, and it's supposed to be Jerry West. It looks like it. So with the WNBA, they have the silhouette of the woman going up for a shot. I wonder who that is.
I don't know. Who is it? I've never really thought about it.
Yeah. I mean, because the silhouette for the WNBA was Jerry West. So who's this silhouette of?
I think they should really piss him off and put Caitlin Clark as a new silhouette. I think the league would close. So we'll see. By the way, there's rumors that Caitlin Clark signed a European contract. It must be AI generated. There's no truth to that, by the way. She has not signed a European contract. I Googled it this morning to double check and triple check it. That's not true. As far as I know, she's playing golf this fall, and she may play in the European League this winter, but she's not leaving the WNBA, according to anything I've saw. We do know that Jason Whitlock has suggested they start a new league, and I think it's a good idea because this league is just so toxic, and they need a fresh start, Rob. They do. They need a fresh start. You need Elon Musk, or he suggested Saudi Arabia. We talked about that before. Maybe play during the same time of year as the NBA plays. I don't know if that would work. Got a lot of competition with college and pro football and the NBA and NHL, but who knows?
Well,
Maybe
even like I said, with the finals, it's a good finals. Liberty won. They came back and they won, but they're complaining about the referees. The coach for Lynx is complaining about the referees. So now it's really I wonder if they'll do something now, since it's in the finals. They're complaining. Will they do anything?
I doubt it, Rob. The commissioners had 5 years to improve the quality of the refereeing, or if there is favoritism going on. There clearly was not favoritism towards Caitlin Clark this year. But if there is favoritism towards certain teams, put Caitlin Clark aside for a minute. If there has been favoritism towards players and teams throughout the 5 years that the commissioner's been there, she hasn't done anything about fixing it. Anything about fixing the quality of the refs. And so I don't know. I don't have any hope that she's going to do anything this year. I don't know what they can do. I've made suggestions, and I don't know if they're going to do any of those. But they need to get rid of some of these refs. The lowest rated ones all need to be dropped. They need to drop more refs per year and replace them with more refs. That's one thing they could do, obviously.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think, I mean, this is, it's kind of weird, Mark. This is the one sport where you're anticipating, where you want to see what's going to happen next year. I mean, a lot of sports, we're both basketball. I'm basketball, you're football, but you're like anticipating. You can't wait until next year just to see what's going to happen. It's kind of like,
right. What's going to happen is they're going to try their hardest. If Asia Wilson's not going to be the face of the league because she's not excited enough, they're going to try their hardest to make someone else besides Caitlin Clark. And it could be anybody. It could be some freshman that comes in this year. But they want anybody but Caitlin Clark. More likely, if they're lesbian, that's better. If they're black, that's even better. If they're a black lesbian, home run, baby.
That's it. That's it. MVP.
and that's what they want. That's what they want, and that's what they're hoping for. And I think it's unfortunate that they're looking at race and sexuality so much in this particular case.
What's Angel Reese going to do? Poor thing. She's not going to get that attention. If that's their model, what's she going to do? Poor thing.
That will be interesting when JuJu Watkins comes in the league and takes away some of the publicity away from Angel Reese. Is Angel Reese and JuJu Watkins going to have a little tension there?
Right.
But JuJu Watkins is a much more talented player than Angel Reese, so she's going to be a better player.
For sure.
She has the key is she has that athletic ability that Angel Reese does not have. No. At least it certainly looks like she doesn't have the athletic ability. She looks awkward to me when she plays, but that's just me.
She looks pretty good. She's not awkward on social media.
No, she's not awkward on stage, apparently.
Yeah.
Well, let us know what you think. Do you think a lot of people, like practically everyone involved in following the WNBA or being in working for it or being in the NBA, except for Caitlin Clark fans, seem to want anybody but Caitlin Clark to be the face of the league? That's the impression I got. They're all hoping for somebody else. But Rob, a generational player, I'm not saying necessarily talent-wise, because JuJu Watkins looks like she's going to be a generational talent-wise. But in terms of an exciting player, Rob, those don't come around every year or every 2 years, every 3 years. That's one of the reasons Caitlin Clark, or that's the main reason I think Caitlin Clark is really exciting. So they're hoping for this, but it's not a likely thing where a super exciting player comes around every year or every 2 years or every 3 years. It's more like every 5 or 10 or 15 years or 20 years. That's why they call it a generational talent. So it's not likely to happen no matter how much they want to push JuJu Watkins or any other player on the league. The player has to be exciting. And that's what they don't get.
She's selling out visitors' arenas.
Right. She's
selling them out. I mean, and then her home arena, the attendance went up almost like 500%, something like that. It's like come on.
Yeah, I've never seen a league try to push out a rookie so quickly and then hope to replace her right away. I mean, she's only a rookie. They're trying to replace her already, Rob. She's only 1 year in the league. They're already trying to replace her. It wasn't like she's been the face of the league for 10 years and they're tired of her. They were tired of her the moment she played her first game, Rob.
Right. Like, Caitlin, who is that? I didn't see her coming.
Well, I don't know what to say, but that's just the impression I get. I could be wrong, but they're pushing JuJu, and like I said, she'll be a great player. But I'm not going to find her more exciting than Caitlin Clark unless she does it on the court. If she is more exciting, great. I follow her like crazy, but I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think she is. I've seen her play already, and I don't see that in her. But that's nothing a knock against her. I just think it's a very rare quality that Caitlin Clark has. To me, she has the rarest quality that I haven't seen it since Michael Jordan. She's the first female athlete I've seen that really had that in a team sport.
And she's only going to improve, Mark. That's the whole thing. She's just starting out. She's only going to improve, which people should have the haters very scared.
Right. Well, and that'll make her more exciting too.
Right.
As she becomes a better and better player, she'll be more and more exciting. So look out. I don't know that's going to upset people. She works on her game. That's one thing. So we'll see what happens. All right. Let us know what you think. I think this is pretty obvious, but I could just be projection.
No projection, Mark. No, you're right on.
I could be guessing, but I don't think so. I think there's everyone but Caitlin Clark fans is wishing for this. That's the impression I get. Anyways.
Oh, yeah.
Rob's convinced of it.
Totally. I'm totally convinced.
All right. We'll see what happens next year. I am interested to see what happens this year with college basketball and in the WNBA next year when Paige Becker comes in. That will be interesting. So we'll see what happens. All right. Well, let us know what you think down below. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please do so. Hit the notification bell when you do, so you get notified of our next videos. And join us for our live show, which is tonight, 6 to 8 Eastern time, every Monday, except for major holidays. And you can call in for that show, so it's pretty cool. And if you want to donate to the channel, there's super chats and super thanks down below. And there's a link to PayPal. And we'll see you in the next video.
Peace out.